Welcome back, Dad School Podcast. I'm Josh. That's Jimmy. Today, we're talking about who's in charge, me or Jimmy.
Charles. Charles is in charge.
Who's Charles?
You don't remember that show when you were a kid
No.
with
No.
Scott Baio?
Was it on
Charles
cable?
in charge? No, I think it's just one of the broadcast channel sitcoms
Yeah, probably.
called Charles in Charge.
Never
Oh
heard. Okay.
man,
Holy derailed. What? We're like 43 seconds into this already.
and we've already.
No. Who's in charge? This is a show. Dad School Podcast is a show about dads. I'm a dad. Jimmy's a dad, and we like to talk about
Charles
things.
is a dad.
Charles could be a dad. Whoever Charles is out there, hopefully you're a good dad. But we're going to talk about obedience and ownership. Who's in charge? Who's actually in charge? And this is not like between husbands and wives who's in charge. We already know that answer. We're not gonna fill the blanks in. But kids and parents, who's in charge, and what actually it means. So buckle up for a great discussion on that. So I guess as dad, Jimmy, do you ever have these wrestlings of I'm an authority figure, I should be listened to no matter what, even if I'm having stupid things I'm saying, you should just obey?
A thing that has happened that is new this winter, for those of you not listening live, it's January as we are recording this, and our oldest is now in her early teen years, and she's starting to do the thing of conveniently forgetting coat just for whatever reason. I never understood it when I was a kid. It was always my older siblings did it too. It was like never grabbing a coat or jacket, and it's winter, and they would just go out in their t-shirt, and dad would have to get on to go back inside, get your coat, get your whatever. And I was always like, I'm cold, I'm gonna wear. I don't know. I don't remember really doing that when I was a kid. Maybe I did, probably from time to time. But we're now in that
Parents
phase
are like,
where we have to go to the store or we have to go to somewhere, and I'll see her walking out to the garage to get in the car, and it's freezing out. Well, lately we've had some decent days, but there's days where it's absolutely freezing out, and she's just wearing like a long sleeve t-shirt. I'm like, go get your coat. I'll be fine. Like, no, you're getting it and you're putting it on, and then you're getting in the car. Okay.
So
and then
you
we'll walk
put
through
your
the
dad foot down
someone.
then. Like you
Eventually
step
you
up
have
and
to.
you're like, you're doing this. Go get your coat. This isn't a question, Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And the why answer is because I said so. That's when that you have to play that card.
Yeah.
Because I'm the parent who said so.
So what does your wife say about that interaction? Like when she witnesses this, has she witnessed this? And if she has, like, does she say you handled that well by saying, because I'm in charge?
No, I think we both are just kind of on the same page. Like, no, we're not going to thing until you have your coat. So go get it.
So
I think we both just kind of, and then we just roll with it and we move on.
This is an unintended sidestep we're going to take here for a second, because I didn't realize that you guys were having that as well. I too have 3. I don't know if I would say all 4 of my kids are this way, but a majority of them, they just think that any time is okay to go outside in short sleeves and maybe even shorts. Who knows? Short sleeves, shorts, no jacket, and they're like, "I'll be great. We're just getting in the car. It's gonna be warm eventually. We're gonna be in the building. It's not gonna be cold. We don't gotta worry about it." And like, we have temperature ranges in our house. It's like, if it's below this temperature, you're not in shorts. If it's below this temperature, you need a jacket. And then they're like, "Well, why do we need a jacket in the car?" it's negative 5 outside, but it's gonna be warmer in the car eventually. Like, well, what if we get stranded
Eventually.
on the road? That's never gonna happen. You have a phone. It's like that's not how that works. Like, what if we are? And then you're sitting there with no jacket and the car doesn't work and we're all gonna die because of your jacket not being there. I don't know. But it's like it's that control and then you get that anger almost when you know you're right and you know what you're saying is logical and what they're saying is completely stupid, right? And then they're questioning you like you're stupid. And you're like, no, this is not what where do you get off? You know, there's a lot of paths you can take with this, but yeah.
Right.
Do you have a temperature range you guys follow, or is it just whatever you guys?
When it's cold.
When it's cold. Okay, so no.
I don't have a number. Just when it gets cold outside.
Yeah, we have like multiple smart devices in our house. The kids always ask like, "Is it going to be warm later? Is it going to be cold now? What temperature is it?" And try to prove you wrong before they leave the house. Anywho, did not mean that to get off on the side, but that's a great example, Jimmy. Great example.
So relevant.
It is. You know, I recently just had head to head with my youngest 7-year-old. And, you know, arguing with a 7-year-old is a lot different than arguing with a 14-year-old. Because a 14-year-old, they're correct no matter what because they know everything. There's like something between, like, you see it when they're 13. You see hints of it just like creeping up. But when they're 14, something happens overnight that they have the knowledge of the universe injected into their brains, and mom and dad are dumb and they know everything. Okay, no matter what you say, I know. You know, it's like, okay, I know that you know, even though you're wrong. You know, but anyways, 7-year-olds, and especially 7-year-olds who have 12-year-old sisters and 14-year-old brother, right? They hear these things and they think they can argue rationally, but it turns into an emotional mess pretty fast. So here's the scene. Indoor soccer, right? Indoor soccer practice. It's in a church gymnasium, you know, basketball court, slick floor. My youngest whips out the outdoor cleats and is like,
oh gosh,
let's put these on. And I go, no, son, that's not what you wear indoor soccer. I wasn't mean about it. I was like, no, we need the indoor. And he's like, no, mom told me I can choose and we can wear indoor. We can wear cleats. I was like, no, mom said you can wear indoor cleats. Mom did not say wear something you're going to fall on your butt the first time you try to turn. He didn't get it. Right. So we sat there for like, and this is probably a lot on me because I didn't recognize, you know, the fact that I was arguing with a 7-year-old. And I tried to take it intellectual, you know, trying to explain things to him, but he didn't get it. You can see his face check out when I start, you know, just talking about the physics behind the surface area of the shoe.
Oh my, you went that direction.
For some reason, I thought that'd be a great idea. Like maybe if I explained it to him, he'd understand. I was wrong. It just made him cry. And then I was frustrated and I told him, fine, cry on the stairs until you're going to be late for your practice. And I'll be over here. And when you're ready, let me know. So that's what I did. I sat on the couch, very petty. And he sat there sniffling and I felt like crap. And then eventually he's like, Dad, you help me with my shoes? I was like, yeah. You done being stupid? He's like, yeah. Let's put the shoes on. And, you know, while we're getting the shoes on, he still, you know, got the last lick in. He's like, Mom said I could do the other shoes. I was like, well, you can talk to Mom whenever we're all done with this because she wasn't around, right? And so we went to the practice. It wasn't even a game. It was a practice in the gym, right? And every single kid there has tennis shoes or indoor soccer shoes on. And it took like every ounce of control in my body not to be that petty and not to be like, look at his shoes. Look at his. Yeah, exactly. I didn't, you know, I kept my cool. I did point it out to one of my daughters who came with me, and she sat next to me with the practice, and we had a chuckle. But yeah. Anyways,
Oh, that's hilarious.
but I did not handle it right. I'm not sure how to handle that. Like, unless mom was there to tell him how dumb his argument was, I don't think I could have really said much to change his mind. I probably could have handled it a lot cooler and not gone off the deep end so fast or get so technical. I don't know. But
I was
why?
always super. Well, I was
Go
always
ahead.
super excited when we had just the one younger kid, and saying I can't wait till she's a teenager, or to the point where you can have rational conversations and actually have like dialogue back and forth, and it's not just little kid conversations. And I was always so excited. I'm like, yeah, we'll just talk about it. Oh, but I didn't realize that also meant like their ability to rationalize and debate. And yeah, so yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, and my dad used to always have that phrase growing up. I thought it was just being, I don't know, at the time, early on, I thought he was just being mean. I don't know why I thought like that, because I was adolescent, I guess. But now I fully understand as a parent. And there's times I'll text him or my mom and be like, sorry for what I did as a kid, because I'm experiencing it now. I'm sure, and they don't even know what I'm talking about. It's like, I get it now. But anyways, I like, he used to always say the phrase, the older you get, the more pleasant it is to have conversations with you. I'm like, so like yesterday or the last week, it was worse than it is now. Like, it's better to talk to me every day. I was trying to rationalize like how far back when I was younger. Now I get it, because I can hold a conversation with my dad and we can talk about whatever, right? Back in the day when I was in my teens, it was, I know this, I know that, you're wrong on this. Yeah. So,
Yep.
So,
I guess it's every generation.
Yeah, it's not a new thing. We're not breaking ground, new ground here. So let's break this down. Speaking of breaking things, segue. We are told authority is bad, but chaos isn't what we want. We don't want like free range kids. We can't have that. I think there's books about that, right? What is that book? Lord of the Flies. Have you read that?
Oh my, right? Yeah.
Yeah. When kids are left alone, they break down into like terrible society structures. Anywho, but kids want freedom, and we want the guardrails that they don't kill each other or destroy things. And we also want obedience, right? Like, we want them to obey us, because I mean, it's scriptural, it's biblical. We are an authority figure. Obey your parents. It's not in the Bible. But as dads, we're wired that we were taught to obey our parents. Obviously, the generational gap that degrades every single generation. It seems that people obey their parents, but we want them to obey us like we obeyed our families. And like you said before, like, you don't remember completely going against that grain, do you? Like, you don't remember being acceptable to walk out the front door without a jacket on, and or question the authority telling you put a jacket on.
Right.
I mean, it just, in my mind, my parents would probably like listen to this and they'll be like, what planet are you on, Josh? Because you did the exact same thing. And it probably is the same. Maybe we've just matured past remembering the bad times of doing that. But I do remember, like, come to think of it, I will say this. Come to think of it, I remember my dad or mom telling me, it's cold outside, make sure you wear a heavy jacket. And I never like argued that. I remember that. I could be wrong also. But I remember like, oh, good information. I'm gonna put a heavy jacket on because I don't want to be cold. That's my mentality, But
that's my memory too. But I probably just as many times pushed back on the
it's
most
probably like terrible. Both.
things.
If we can go back in time and see like a video of us like arguing with our parents about jackets, that'd be epic. I'll have to see if I have any footage of that from my parents, like their VHS they're converting. It'd be interesting to look back and see. It's like me arguing. No. Okay.
Yeah.
So what moving forward, sorry, I got a little off topic here. um
As is our tendency.
oh, I know, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
So it's just not jackets, right? It's just not jackets. I got stuck on the jacket thing when you brought that up because that hit home pretty hard, and we have that problem too. Like yesterday morning, we went to church. I'm gonna go right back there, Jimmy. Every single Sunday morning in the winter, we go to church in the morning, and it's like 20 outside, right? And I'm walking out there looking at my daughters in sweatshirts. I'm like, yeah. So that's what I was gonna say. Okay, you ever read a book by Ginger Hubbard? I probably should have remember the title before I said her name, but there's a book.
Yeah.
She has several like child rearing books, right? And I remember with behavioral issues when my son and my daughters were real young, we got several of these books, and a lot of the topics are natural consequences. This ties directly into what we're talking about here. Natural consequences, and having your kids learn what happens if you mess up. So, example being, you don't have a jacket, so you're cold. I don't think they're actually going to die in the car on the way to where we're going. If our car breaks down, yes, that sucks, and we'll figure something out, and it proves my point even more. But a natural consequence of them making a bad decision like that is being cold. A natural consequence of them coming to you at night, them being your kids, the night before the next day they need an outfit washed, and it's not washed yet, and they didn't tell you, or they didn't do it themselves. I don't know if your household policy is that they do their own laundry or how that works, but you stopping and taking care of their problem for them when they're capable, or then they made a mistake, that is rescuing them each time, is it not? Like, natural consequences, you don't have that outfit or you're wearing really smelly clothes, which as a parent is like another double-edged sword, because now we're taking kids places that are smelly. But you understand that point I'm trying to make? Like, the natural
we get stuck in that. Like our oldest just loves reading and piles of novels that she's going through. She's like on her 6th time through Lord of the Rings now in the last like 3 months. It's crazy. But then what ends up happening is other homework not being touched. And there's a consequence to prioritizing getting lost in a really good book and not getting other homework done. And there's the mad scramble, or just showing up to, our homeschool co-op that we go to. And like, I didn't do thing that was supposed to be done. And like, well, yeah, there's the consequence to the decision you were making all last week of prioritizing one thing over another. I mean, that's the kind of the philosophy I've always had. I don't think I've ever done it perfectly, but the philosophy of every decision you make has a consequence. You can make a good choice, or you can make a poor choice, or you can make a really bad choice. And every choice you make ends up having a consequence. We end up thinking of the word consequence itself meaning punishment. That there's going to be consequences to your decision. Like, it sounds like consequence is automatically a negative word, but consequence, I think, really just means the outcome after a decision is made. So dependent on what choice you make is going to determine what kind of consequence you end up having. And so I think like our desire as parents is to try to develop healthier kind of a consequence centric idea with our kids, and not punishment centric, to where we're constantly like, do what I say or you're going to get punished. And then if you don't do this thing right, you're going to get punished. Oh, no. How about in the small things? Let's make sure we're pointing out, okay, you made this choice. What was the consequence of that choice? Did it go well? Did it not go well? Let's cover over that and try directing that kind of decision making in the small things, so that as bigger things as they get older and they have to tackle bigger and bigger things, they're already getting a healthy understanding of, okay, the decisions I make matter. I I kind of control my own destiny a little bit, you know, in a sort of way. And I don't know. I definitely have not been perfect at it, but that's the idea that's always rolled around in the back of my head.
Yeah, and that's a good call out. Consequences being not always negative. Like you could have the positive consequence of doing what you're told when you're told to do it and how you're told to do it, and doing good work. The consequence is someone will expect that or associate you with good work in the future. You know, there's positive things that come from doing the right thing. While you're talking and saying that, it got me thinking back to my accountability study I did at work with other fellow managers a couple months ago, and it's the same thing. Setting clear expectations about what you are trying to do, what you're expecting them to do, will also help set them up. So when the consequence happens, if it is a negative one or a positive one, they understand where it came from, and it's not just you being mean.
Right.
And it's also like it's setting the boundaries of, if I'm giving the expectations out, if I'm telling you, and this is par for the course right now with one of my daughters, actually all my kids, doing chores, like emptying the dishwasher is a chore in our house, and dad doesn't always think this should be done this way, but this is how it's done now. I fill it up, they empty it and put the dishes away. If I had to pick one of those two, of putting dishes away or put them in the dishwasher, I cannot stand putting dishes away once they're clean. I don't know why. It's like it's a thing. I hate it. I hate picking them out of the dishwasher. Some of them are wet, and you're like, you gotta dry them off still. Yeah, put them up. I'd rather just put them in the dishwasher. Plus, I like to organize things and make it look like fit. It's like a fun game. But I wouldn't mind if my kids got good at that too. But that's the problem. Like, I have a hard time letting that go. Like, you put that plastic on the bottom next to the heater. Do you want this house to burn down? Do you want this plastic to be gone when you open this thing up? That's what's going to happen. I was going someplace with this. Hang on. Control versus me wanting to teach my kids, right? So I want to control the outcome. So getting clear expectations. One of my daughters is taking a liking to, or I don't know if she's just trying to impress me with doing more work and helping out, but she is helping load the dishwasher. She's taking that initiative in the evening to take the dishes and put them in the dishwasher, which I love. It's great. But there's guiding. I had to help her, like, hey, you know, this, and it's a good lesson for me of patience and humility and not walk away. I'll take care of this. I've done that like twice so far, but overall it's going well. So I need to help. I needed to be a steward for her. I need to help her understand the why without crapping on her want to help, you know? So it's a back and forth, and it's hard because there's other things. I know my wife's very particular on how things are done. I think most wives probably have a way that I have the house cleaned a certain way. You know, there's a level of done to an activity of something in the house that I think most wives probably have a higher standard than most husbands. And I think we all know what I'm talking about. Like I can look at the floorboard, I mean the baseboards, and I'm like, they're there. Yep, I don't see a problem. But she looks at it and she's like, there is so much dust there. There's grime, there's dirt, all this stuff. I'm like, we're looking at the same baseboard because it looks fine to me.
That's why our wives get along so well, because
yes,
me and you are so much the same, and they are so much the same. It's hilarious. I'm exactly the same with the dishwasher. Like, I find a certain small joy. It's like one of my one small pleasures I get in my daily routine is loading the dishwasher, because I'm that, you know, wizard that can get everything in there and everything comes out clean. But then the times that I let someone else help, everything's just a jumbled mess. Cups are in, you know, upside down, so they get full of
water,
dirty dishwater. Like, no, this doesn't work. You can't do it that way. I'm the same.
Do you not get how it works?
Gravity. It still works inside the dishwasher.
So okay, so in that regard, like if you are trying to assert your authority over your children, let's circle back around to all this, and you are being strict. If you are being like I think we've all seen that parent who wants their kid to be like a militaristic in line, yes sir, answer as soon as you say something. And that's kind of fun if you think about it. Like when you give a command or you ask your kid to do something and you tell them to do something, what is the acceptable like response? Like, because in our minds we have it built out, but in practice, like if you see what you actually want them to do, is that actually what you want them to do? Like, do you want them to be like, yes sir, and then go do it right away like a robot? Or is it like, is that fair? Is that too controlling? Is that out of line? What do you think?
I think, yeah, what you're touching on is how do we get them to internalize the internal motivation versus external motivation. They get the quality thing done or do it right, do it well because they have personal ownership of it, or is it because they have a domineering authority figure that's gonna
Yeah.
I don't know, take away their iPad if they don't do as they're told, or receive some other punishment. And it just kind of circles back to that. Like, how do we get them to have internal motivation?
And this is gonna sound funny now that I'm saying it out loud because my wife says the same thing. I disagree with it on most levels, but I agree with it kind of. It's really the heart behind it. I think is what really hits home for me. Like, does my kid actually see the reason why they should be doing this, and do they agree
Mm-hmm.
with it, and do they understand that? And then my want is for them to just naturally have that. Like, they should want to put a jacket on because it's cold outside. They should want to do the dishes. And this is I think this is the thing my daughter is like touching on. I'm loving it. She's wanting to help the family. She's wanting to help me do the dishes. Maybe she takes that. I look so pitiful that she thinks she needs to help me with that. Even if that's the case, I'm okay with this.
Could be.
But that's the heart that I like. I
Yeah.
want to help. I want my kids to get up and do their chores because they live in the house with us, and it's their responsibility to contribute. I don't want them to do their chores because I tell them to do their chores. I want them to want to do their chores to help. And that answers my own question. I guess I asked you. Like that's what I want them to do. Like I don't want to have to tell them get their shoes on, get ready. I want their shoes to be on because they know we're leaving and they're ready.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good way to put it. Like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, they got it done because they already understood, and this is just the way things work. Instead of having to be told, okay, so first you put your right shoe on, and then you put your left shoe on, and then you tie your right shoe, and then you tie your left shoe. Sometimes it feels that way.
But then the want and like that want of me to them for them to own it, I guess. Ownership is probably the better way to say this because it changes the whole the whole conversation from do it because I said so to you're doing it because it's what you should be doing, or
Mhm.
or because you're owning this responsibility in life in general. Like there's a point in life our kids hopefully someday we'll see it. They're going to just do things because it's the right thing to do. Right? Like walking up to a building. And this is something that all minute things I pointed out to my kids. I try to, and I try really hard not to be negative. I try to demonstrate how to do it properly. But going up to a like church, for example, and there's people leaving, you should hold the door for them. That's what you should do. You should not rush in front of them and then go out the door and then that's it. you know,
Yeah.
if you have to get in front of them, hold the door for them. If you can't make it there without making it really super awkward, hang back. Let them open the door
Yeah.
first. But that's something like if you're walking up to a building and there's someone walking up behind you, hold the door open for them. Even if it means at a restaurant that they're going to get in before you and get the table. That's something that as an adult you're like, crap, I was nice and it did not pay out. But it's the
Yeah.
proper thing to do. It's what you should do in society. You shouldn't just slam the door in someone's face. You shouldn't like make them grab the door behind you. You should get out of the way and let them in front of you. Like we are called to serve others, not serve ourselves. And that's a lesson that I try to instill in my kids, but that's something that they need to understand is important. And they need to own that because it's the right thing to do, not because dad said this is what you always do. You know, I don't say when mom's happy, everyone's happy for a reason, for no reason. I say it because it's the right way to look at life. When your partner or spouse is happy, that's you're supposed to make them happy. You're not supposed to make their life difficult. That's not how life works. You're supposed to be a partner together, and that doesn't mean me first. It's die to self, and you're one flesh. That's the definition of that. Once again, way off topic. So pressing forward. We talked about this a little bit. Consequences and punishment. Yeah. I guess that's like circles. We've talked about this like a year ago. We talked about this. Are you punishing your kids to make yourself feel better? Or are you punishing your kids so they learn a lesson? You know? I in older, you know what? That's kind of weird to think about. When I had just my son, my oldest son, and he was young, and I had the girls and their baby because there's only 2 years between them. My punishment thought process was a lot different than it is now after having 4 kids. And you kind of like, you step back more and more kids you have, and you kind of see how dumb you were in the first kid when you were doing
Right.
things. Like I remember like wanting to swat my oldest son because he did something wrong and he wasn't obeying or he was doing the wrong thing. But that notion of like just swatting his butt if he was out of line, like I don't see a need for that anymore at all. Like there are times I probably want to throw my youngest across the room if he's acting up, but there's always a couch there to catch him. It's okay. I can do that.
All right.
But like the punishment is like a lot of times it comes down to making me feel better about what happened. And it's not centered at all around making them understand there's consequences. It's a different mindset.
Right. Yeah. We went through that as well. Like our punishment mode when we were young parents and figuring things out, it's totally different than it was for our second. I mean, we've got about 6 years between our two kids, and so we as parents had a lot of growing up and maturing to do before we came around a second time around. And I think we've tried to be much more of the, okay, let's learn from natural consequence. And I mean, my wife's a therapist, so she's all about like digging into, okay, what's the natural consequence of making this decision? How were you surprised that this is the way your life is going when you decided to do these things for years and years and years? Like that's what she does with clients all day long. Like, okay, so let's start making new decisions so that the consequences can start stacking up in a different direction. Like that's already kind of, depending on the client, that's not every client, but that's something that she already like has to do with people. And then doing it with an adult that can rationalize is one thing. And then doing it with a 5-year-old, like it's like you were saying, the soccer shoes, like, okay, I can't just sit down and rationalize it with you. But yeah, like that's something that is, we've gotten better at the second time around, I think. And we can look back to our oldest in the first few years and like, oh man, we did not like train up like thinking through and us being rational, and our punishment and consequence giving was not always rational ourselves. And so we've had to grow up too.
Yeah, and I early on, you're just kind of hanging on but and held on to the train as it goes by. But now we're, our kids are a little older. We can retrospectively look back. We can see what we're doing now. And I am dead convinced that for probably the first, let's just call it 10 years of my child's life, my job as their dad is just to keep them from killing themselves. or doing something that kills themselves
or others.
or
Yeah.
others, right? Causing serious property damage, or because like that's
Right.
what the mode you're in. You're like everything they do can hurt something, themselves, others,
Yeah.
whatever. And as they get older, they kind of understand, hey, if I stick this in an electrical socket, it's not going to end well. They understand that concept more. But if you turn the light switch on in the car when dad's driving at night, you can go off a cliff instantly. They understand that now. Back then, it's like it was Wild West. And so I guess wrapping this all up, because I think we're at time. Yeah, rationalizing. I mean, you said something that started a thought in my head, and then it just like fizzled out when I started talking. But rationalizing with kids, rationalizing with kids is not an easy thing, because they say the smart things back to you. Like they say things you think that are smart and they understand what you're saying, but behind the eyes, there's nothing. Like they have no understanding of what you're talking about. So you're using big words like cooperation and, this is what it means to be part of a family. And they have no idea what these concepts are still. I remember what it was. I always wondered with your girls how it is to be raised in a family with a therapist, because it's like, is there a mode, like a time she's not in therapist mode when she's talking or disciplining the kids? Like that's got to be interesting to be a kid on that side of the table, right? It's like using.
I think she does a good job of, when it's mom time, it's mom time. I would get the same question growing up. My dad was a pastor, and so I would always get, "What's it like having your dad as a preacher?" Like, I don't know. He's my dad. Like he does dad things. Like
24 hours.
And then I listen to him give a speech every once a week. Like, and then I think back, I'm like, yeah, I guess that isn't normal, but the typical experience for kids. But yeah, I would get that question all the time. What's it like? And yeah, like, he's a dad like any other dad. My girl's mom she's a mom like any other mom, but she goes deep. She goes deep fast.
And you're just hanging on there, aren't you? Like, yeah, listen to your mom.
Oh, we are in the deep end always.
Get your floaties on, right?
That's right.
So I guess we've talked about little bits and pieces of what as dads we should do instead of being command. I guess this episode is more about just sharing those experiences that we've walked through so far. And I'm trying to tie this all together. There's no like clear cut and dry, this is the actions you follow to make it more successful. But I think it's more of an understanding of ourselves and understanding of the appropriate response we expect back from a kid, or our child, I should say. And we have to set ourselves the correct expectations as well. When we are telling them to do something, is it appropriate for us to expect them to hop to? And why or why not should we be upset if they don't? That, and we talk about the heart of the matter. I'm just kind of reviewing here. Sorry. Accountability. This is what I was bringing up. We talked about it several times. Like, as a dad, owning your mistakes, owning when you are too harsh when you want them to do something. That's a big thing. We've always talked about being present. You got to be there. If you're in your phone, or if you're always rushing to do something else, or something else is in front of you. I am struggling with this point myself right now, actually. Not this second, but in life. I constantly have things I'm working on in my office. I'm constantly working on projects for some of my clients, working on code, working on different things I'm working on my computer. I, for the most part, am not slacking off. I'll start with that, because I might have code that's compiling. I might have code that's running. I might have some error logs I'm digging through. And I might have a movie on in the background right over here on this screen. I have some code here. I have some other code and logs over here. And the kids constantly come in every 5 minutes, and they're asking me to do something with them. Okay. And Monday through Friday, 8 to 5-ish, I'm telling them I'm at work. I'm working. I can't. I'm at work. I'm logged in and working. So in the evenings, I'm working on side projects or other extra work for other clients. I have a hard time disconnecting and just going to go do things with them. And I'll tell them I'll be there in 5 minutes. I got to set a timer on my thing or I won't, because I'll just keep on working. Or at late at night, they're like, tuck me in. And I'm like, I'll be up there in a few minutes. And then I get up there and they're already asleep. And I'm like, dang it, I missed it again. That's something I'm struggling with myself. So I guess I'm trying to like way off topic here, but what I'm trying to say is my accountability needs to step up, and I realize that, and I'm seeing that, and I'm feeling that. I'm feeling convicted about that. My accountability needs to step up and start doing what I'm saying I'm going to do with my kids, especially. And that's something I've been lacking at recently. And I've been justifying it that I'm doing work and doing stuff to help our family and get paid and whatnot, and further my kids' ability to exist, but it comes at a cost. No pressure, right? But it comes at a cost of my time with them that I'm not ever going to get back. So I guess the whole point of saying all that was that I need to be, as dads, we need to be accountable to our family. We need to be accountable to our time, to spend time with our family, and not justify being busy in what we're doing, whatever it may be, and take away from our family time.
I mean, it's one of our themes that we hit on regularly is who's always watching us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Other than Jesus.
Other than Jesus. I love that meme.
Kids are always watching.
They're like looking at you.
Yeah. The kids are always watching and they're always learning. And what behaviors we set shows them that's the expectation. By whatever decisions we make about ourselves, then they start to internalize, oh, that's the expectations in our home. Dad does it this way, so it's okay for me to do it that way. And we can shoot ourselves in the foot pretty quickly if we're not careful about that.
Yeah. So I guess
all of us guilty. That's not just a Josh thing.
Right. Just not Josh. Jimmy does this too. Yeah. So I guess the goal this week then, Jimmy, for our fellow dad watchers, the goal is to think about yourself and what you're expecting from your kids, and are you expecting them to hop to, or are you actually showing them and teaching them with your actions and words the importance behind keeping your word, the importance behind doing what's right. Maybe that's a good challenge this week, is for a dad to self-evaluate, not to do something externally, but to self-evaluate. Hey, are my actions reflecting what my priorities I'm trying to instill in my kids are? How do we grade this? I have no idea. I have no idea how you even grade that. But how about you tell us? Come back at us. Go to DadSchoolPodcast.com and you email us what happened when you thought about this yourself. I mean, did you look at yourself and say, self, I'm perfect, I don't need to change anything? If that's the case, email us, tell us. I'll email back and tell you how wrong you are. But you can find us Facebook, YouTube's. You can find us on X. We're not broadcasting live there anymore, just so you know. I just said YouTube, DadSchoolPodcast.com. I think I covered it. Twitch. We're on Twitch. A lot of gamers out there not watching us. But feel free to comment, like, subscribe, anything you want to do. Jimmy, closing thoughts.
If you do reach out to us in any of those formats, one thing we can promise, there will be consequences.
There will be consequences to reaching out to us. Yes, I challenge you. Okay. See you guys next time. Thanks, Jimmy.
Take care.